Need a motion.
Make a motion to approve.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Madam Clerk, we're down to public comment. Any? Ms. Taylor, come up, please. Ms. Taylor, you may start. Your time has started.
Okay. The first paper here is showing a survey of property at 48 Lewis Street, wherein Mr. Hugh James did not physically go out and look at this property for approval. He issued a permit back in May, and the guy had been working on the house since January. And if you will notice, where I've got some highlights on your paper here, the setbacks, I've got a sheet in there, the second sheet back, that says setbacks, front yard, side yards, rear yards. Front yard is a 50-foot setback. If you will notice at the very bottom of this sketch, this survey,
Ms. Jones, speaking to the mic so they can hear you.
it is a 17-foot setback from the house to the property line. It should be a 50-foot. On the far right, it says from the corner of that house where he took a porch in, 11 feet, and that should be 15 feet. And Mr. Hughes said that told me he didn't go out there, but I think he told Mr. Wiley that he did go out there. And this guy that's out there is running all over me and my property with all of his heavy equipment and parking where he shouldn't be parking because he can't get his equipment in to the property. And I would like to ask the board, since we don't have a planning board anymore, unless something happened.
Ms. Jones, we do have a planning board.
Okay, when I talked to Mr. Hugh, he said there was no planning board. So that's why I'm here. He said to go to town council, that's why I'm here. Because this should not be happening. What's good for the goose is good for the gander.
Yes, ma'am, we'll have to send this back to the planning board. We have a zoning board that we've had to assemble. And we have a new zoning administrator, and we will definitely have this back on
So
their
when is the
agenda.
planning board meeting?
We have to call for one.
You have to call for one?
Yes, ma'am.
Would I be notified, please?
Absolutely.
Do you have my contact info?
Oh, I have your information. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I just want to be sure. Have I used my 3 minutes?
You got 26 seconds.
I want to say thank you for allowing me to come in and letting me share this with you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Madam Clerk. At this time, I need a motion to go into public hearing.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're now in public hearing to present the proposed 26-27 proposed annual operating budget.
Mayor, members of council, and citizens, we are pleased to present the proposed FY 26-27 budget. This budget focuses primarily on public safety, supporting our employees, and continuing the replacement of aging equipment and infrastructure. Since you received the budget book last week, we have received updated information from Anderson County Tax Collector's Office. As you know, Anderson County completed a county-wide reevaluation of real property during FY 25-26. As a result, the assessed value of the taxable property within the town of Waysboro has been increased. The county has continued to provide updated valuation figures, and the most recent information indicates an additional projected increase in tax revenue at approximately $621,000. We believe this represents an extraordinary opportunity to recognize and reward the hard work and dedication and patience of our employees have demonstrated over the past several years. Our most valued asset in the town of Waysboro are our employees. Therefore, I ask you to consider an amendment to the proposed budget before you to include a 5% cost of living adjustment, COLA, for our employees. At this time, Ms. Marine will present the proposed budget along with additional information regarding the revised revenue projections resulting from the updated property evaluations. Ms. Marine?
Excuse me. Is that 5% for everyone.
across the board. That's 5% increase across the board for every employee.
Okay.
I want to apologize in advance. I've had a very bad case of bronchitis, so I might have to stop every now and then, as you can. Okay. So, we're gonna start off, some of this is repetitive from the last meeting, but there are some people that were not here, so we're gonna go over it again. We're gonna discuss balances, the general fund budget, water sewer, special projects, public hearing information, and go on to questions and discussions. So budget balance, there are three balances that we discuss: budget balance, fund balance, and cash balance. Budget balance represents the budget amount that is available for a particular budget period. It reflects on expenses and revenue, and it's based on commitment control ledgers. So what that means is, excuse me, for example, if Chief has $20,000 in his budget for equipment, and he has already spent $15,000 and has a PO out there for $1,000, he actually only has $4,000 left in that line item for his budget. That's where the commitment control comes into play. Fund balance, that's life-to-date net worth of the fund. It includes open POs. It's calculated at year end. So the last time fund balance was calculated was June 30th, 2025, and our fund balance overall was $4,403,493. Total unassigned fund balance, that's the balance that we can touch and spend, is $2,836,860. That's total fund, that's general fund balance. So GFOA recommends a minimum of no less than 2 months, that's 16.6. Mayor, last month you said to me, wow, that's really good. And I said, well, I wasn't really happy with it. It's 50% of our budget is fund balance, so that is very good. It just makes me nervous. I just like lots of money in the savings account. So the accounting measure is what's truly available to spend. So the analogy, $5,000 in your bank account, you owe $2,000 on credit cards, $1,000 in rent. What you really have available to spend to go to the mall or go grocery shopping is $2,000, not $5,000 that's in your bank account. Cash balance, that shows what cash remains after transactions have gone through that day. That's the actual money in the bank. That does not account for any checks that may have been cut that day. It does not include open POs. We have cash, but some of it is already obligated, restricted, or not yet recognized as usable. So that means that we have $1,000 in the safe that needs to be deposited. That's not included, and it fluctuates daily. So that's the difference between balances. So on to the general fund budget. We'll graph there for you that shows you that the bulk of our revenue comes from our ad valorem, that's our property tax and our automobile registration taxes. And then down at the bottom you see 2.5 million. That's additional taxes that we get. Sales tax and franchise tax and anything else that's followed by the word tax. And then we have charges for services, fines and penalties. I did not budget for grants. If it's not written and awarded, I'm not going to budget for it. If somebody writes a grant and we get it awarded, I will do a budget amendment and I will add it in. Intergovernmental revenue, investment earnings is quite high because our savings is quite high. Miscellaneous revenue, I don't have the detail on the presentation, but it is in the budget book that I gave you. Permits and licenses, and the fund balance appropriation of $577,000. So, for the purpose of this presentation, I am required by law for North Carolina General Statute 159-11 that the town has calculated revenue neutral tax rate. The reason why we have to do that is because Anson County did complete a countywide reevaluation of real property, and as a result, the property value went up, which in turn raised the taxes on the property. Revenue neutral means that I had to calculate what we budgeted last year for taxes and basically roll back the rate to a figure that will calculate out to that somewhat exact dollar amount in tax revenue. That property tax rate is 40.3 cents. We are reporting that rate for informational purposes only tonight, because we are proposing the tax rate that is currently .616 remain the same for this fiscal year. Other changes, that's the big change in revenue. The other change in revenue would be increase in revenue collections for 2,100 customers would be approximately $107,100, raising the rate from $20.75 to $25. We have new calculations, as Mr. Ross just stated, and we'll talk about that a little bit later in the presentation. What I am presenting you right now is what has been presented to the citizens on the, in the budget document. So general fund proposed expenditures, administration budget, which is finance, town clerk, and town manager. 15.2% of the budget at $1,096,000. Police, 3.2 million. Fire, 1.5 million. Garage, $136,847. Street, $446. Power bill, whatever I budget for revenue is what I budget for expenses. Sanitation, $448,662. Parks and Rec, $128,488. The proposed general fund personnel allocations, town council 6, administration 5, both unchanged. Summer interns, last year we had 8, we've increased it to 10. For police, we have 3 part-time, 24 full-time. That's not just police, we have a police, records clerk, that includes that person. Fire rescue, 7 full-time, 2 part-time, 33 volunteers. Fleet, street, sanitation, down to 0. Because our proposal is to eliminate that and contract it out. Parks and Rec, we established a full-time position, mainly because of the splash pad necessary during the summer, and then the added work for cutting the lawn and whatever else is needed. and then maintaining our part-time position. So you can see the differences in the salary. Again, this is gonna change later on in the presentation. The administration budget highlights an increase of $41,236. Part of that is salaries based on raises for the employees that were affected by the salary study. Increase to the state retirement rates, continuing the youth program through the new North Carolina Co-op Extension Program, increasing it from 8 students to 10 students. They average out about 20 hours a week for 6 weeks, and we added $25,000 for People Fest. The police department increased the budget $525,000, salaries $338,513 for 4 new police officers, which includes 1 detective. Increase state retirement, adding a violence prevention program. We were able, of course, to reduce contracted services because we have a full staff now, so we don't have to pay to the county. We had to increase uniforms and supplies due to the increased staff, and $56,000 for capital purchases for new Glocks, a package for Glocks, flashlights, and something else. And also 2 new vehicles. And we anticipate taking that out of asset forfeiture funds, so that will be restricted fund balance.
The asset forfeits the money they seize.
Yes,
So it's used at his discretion, correct?
at his discretion, but only for certain things. Can you speak to that, Chief?
You can only use vehicles, equipment.
Yeah.
But you told the patrol that we don't have nothing to do with that anyway.
Yeah, we just bring it for, just respect, yeah.
I have one question. Did we approve 4 officers? Or was it 2? I was thinking it was 2.
And if I may, the council does have to approve the spending of the asset forfeiture. You can't say no, but it's part of the budget, so in that respect, you have to approve it.
No, it's not.
Okay, well, that's what I was told.
In the past, the chief has taken care of that, so we're not sure.
Yeah, so what she's saying is that the police department is responsible for the asset forfeiture funds. It comes before the council. So we're playing on words here. Yes,
Right.
he's control of that, but because you only use for training and other equipment. Exactly right.
And it is part of the budget.
Yeah.
And because I have to include it in the budget gets approved by council. Police, okay, done with that. Fire, budget increase $236,000. That, good part of that is salary and benefits based on the salary study, bringing the fire department up to market rate. The debt payments, equipment and vehicles that were approved last year. This is now a full year of those debt payments. Increase of $45,000 for 911. Capital outlay of $98,000 for utility vehicle, turnout gear, and radios. And I don't know if I said this with every department, but there's an increase for gasoline, tires, and utilities just across the board because of fuel cost. Garage, increase of $26,600 to extend the concrete pad and to buy fans for the shop. There were some small reductions here and there. Street department was a reduction of $148,545 due to staffing changes. No new capital purchases, though they do have some new debt payments, and there were rising costs for streetlights, again, for the fuel costs. sanitation, overall a reduction of 116,200 by eliminating the department and contracting out services and moving staff to water sewer. Parks and Recreation was increased by moving one staff member to that department, fuel costs and maintenance, additional supplies, maintenance and utility costs for the splash pad. Any questions for general fund before I move on to water sewer?
Let's just wait for the president to end, let the public chime in when you get done.
Okay. Okay, so water sewer was extremely tight this year, even with adding the 9.5 increase to the water sewer fees. As if you recall, last year we had a 12.5% increase from the county to our water sewer cost, and we did not pass that on to the citizens. This year, they are giving us another 9.5% increase, and it needs to be passed on. So the water department's budget is a little bigger than the sewer department, $2,083,000. Sewer is $1,600,000. So the water department has gone up in staff by 3. We have a part-time person in addition to that. Sewer department, we had 2 people, and now we're up to 6 with 1 part-time person. So there's been $351,000 increase in staffing and benefits. So expenditures, salary, staffing, the increase in expenses for the water, new debt for purchases of aging equipment, and capital purchases to replace aging equipment. Special project funds are reported here for informational purposes only. These were the authorized amounts at the time that they were established. Okay. These are the changes to the revenue calculations. So, for ease of understanding, what I did was I put in black what you were presented in your budget book, and then I backed out the change, and then I put in, I backed out the old figure, and then I put in the new figure, okay? So the proposed revenue in your budget book was $7,193,256. The ad valorem taxes that I put in that budget was $2,637,925. The new calculation that we received from the tax collector on Thursday calculated out at $2,943,482. In addition, I added in $316,226. That is a figure that I only got on Thursday. I did not have that for the presentation that you have on the table. So the increase, I'm going to get there. The increase in tax revenue is $621,783. The proposed changes for expenditures are strictly salaries. Mr. Ross asked me to calculate a 5% COLA, and that 5% also affects FICA, life insurance, and retirement. Okay? So the administration budget changes by $35,985. The police department, before this came about, Chief and I and Mr. Ross sat down, and he recommended, trying to save some money for the town, he recommended that we do 1 full-time detective, 1 BLET, I apologize, I have 2 full-time up there. I meant to change that. It's 1 full-time, 1 part-time, right? That's what we decided. 1 full-time, 1 part-time, 1 B-let, 1 full-time detective. I apologize. So 1 full-time PO, 1 part-time PO, 1 B-let, and 1 full-time detective. That saved us $58,000. And then, based on that calculation, I did 5%. So the difference for the police department is only $19,025, giving them 5% across the board. Fire, $28,003, garage, $3,000, streets, $84,000. I'm sorry, I'm trying to read this here. Oh, okay. What we did was when Mr. Ross asked me to calculate the 5% increase, we went way in the red in water sewer. So we looked at streets, and they really did need another person. So we took a person from water sewer that we originally budgeted and moved from sanitation and put it back to streets. So the result there is $84,243. So if you look at your street budget, you'll see an increase of $84,243. Parks is an increase of $3,153. So the next thing, the fund balance allocation in the budget was $577,110. With these changes, with the 5% COLA, with the changes in the police department, we are able to reduce the fund balance allocation to $128,787, taking the reduction in fund balance to $448,323. So any questions from council? Okay.
Any public concerns?
First, Mr. Finance Officer, you said that 61 cent is, or percent is what you presented to the public, right? Did I hear you say that correctly?
That's what's in the budget document.
All right. When was that presented to the public? The only public this right here tonight. I mean, other people, the other 5,000 something people hadn't had a chance to see this or know what the tax rate's gonna be, and it kind of surprises me that we were presented a tax rate same as last year. You raised it last year, and we presented the same tax rate with all the reevaluations, and it's not revenue neutral. I mean, that's just, you know, I'm disappointed in that. I would hope that this town council would consider a revenue neutral budget, because at these, with the reevaluations, it's gonna be hard for the public, for the citizens to make ends meet.
Does that answer your question? The presentation was tonight, so that's what I'm saying.
Okay, I thought I misunderstood you, that you said that's what was presented to the public, so that's what I thought, you know, the rest of the public, till they see the budget tomorrow, they won't know what this tax rate's gonna be, so. Correct, that there is gonna be another hearing on the budget in, okay. Okay. Well, I just, you know, did ask for the, contract for the waste proposal, and Mr. Ryle, he, was nice enough to send it to me, but the tax rate of what the company's charging Waysboro is gonna be $18.50. You're raising the rate to $25 from $20.75. And from looking at the description, you're allowed one residential trash collection. Any extra can will be $6. And commercial, the businesses uptown, is $20, and any extra can will be $6. Now, and it has been since we annexed, the public was allowed, citizen was allowed 2 cans, and the uptown business was allowed 3 up to 4 cans at no extra charge. So it looks to me like if we're not allowed but 1 can, we're getting less service and paying more money. I mean, that's just something that, it's disappointing to me. I just think that we, citizens don't have a whole lot. With this kind of tax rate, it's gonna be tough to make it. Now we're raising, trash pickup, and I'll say this with all due respect, each and every one here. Everyone on this board knows that there's people in administration, in police, in water, sewer, and all different agencies that don't live in this county, don't pay 1 cent of county tax, 1 cent of town tax, or 1 penny in trash pickup. And now to be talking about a 61-cent tax rate on reevaluation, it's just very, very disappointing. I hope that this town council will get together and come up with some areas. When I was talking to Mr. Ross here, he was telling me about the losses you're taking in trash of $48,000, I believe. And he asked me if my private account, if I was losing $48,000, what would I do? And I told him, well, first of all, I wouldn't have $48,000 in my account, but I would start cutting somewhere. Is there any fat in this budget? I don't know. I haven't seen it broken down, but I hope that each and every one of you will study the budget and try to bring some kind of relief to these citizens. The 43 cent looked very well to me. I mean, that would make us bringing in the same amount we had last year. Of course, like I said, you raised the tax, and I think the rate was 55 cents. But I look forward to talking with the citizens and being back up here on the 22nd and hearing what this board's been able to do. Any questions? Appreciate it.
Any more from the citizens? If there's no more from the citizens, I'll make a motion to go out of public hearing. Any motion to go out of public?
I make that motion.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're now back on the agenda.
We discussed this out of public hearing. Do we have any discussion on this?
I think you asked him comments about this.
Right, well, I thought we were gonna let the public go first. I'm sorry.
We need motion to do about,
So you can close the public hearing, that would end the conversation from the public, and it could be back in front of council.
So we're good. I'm gonna agree with, Mr. Bobby there. I've heard it from the manager, and I've heard it from several council members sitting here that our community is a poor community. And I was pretty shocked when I seen this tax rate come in too. I think, yeah, we do need revenue, but I think it's this council's duty, along with the county, to come up with some other alternatives, like bringing business into this community. We can't out-tax ourselves and on this property. We can't do that. If a business coming in here and they look at our property tax and we're higher than Monroe and Charlotte, and I know about that area and what's going on there, then they're gonna go somewhere else. They're gonna say, well, the property tax is just too high for what I'm getting in that community. And so I think, this board really needs to take a look at that. And, I think with the proposed, with the trash pickup and stuff like that, I think there's some stuff we can cut there. I want this board to really consider some of these cuts to this stuff. We cannot continue. And when I came on this board, I had people telling me and talking to me from all walks of life, every community. They complained about the cost of trash pickup. They complained about reconnection fees. They complained about late fees. And some of these people were actually people who were helping people. if we're gonna get on Facebook and we're gonna get out here in the community and we're gonna say we're here for you and we're here to help you and we're gonna talk about the poor and the disenfranchised, then we got to come right here to this table and put the money where our mouth is. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I can't do much about the water rates. If they're gonna go up, they're gonna go up. We got rid of our water treatment plant years ago. We have nowhere else to go but to the county. I wasn't excited about that then. I'm not excited about it now, but we can't do nothing about that. But we can do a little something to help our citizens. I'm paying taxes, so I'm right there with everybody else. Mr. John, Tammy, everybody that's here. Fred? I wish I could. You know, I won't let you go hungry, though. I won't let you go hungry. But I think we need to take a hard look at this and these tax revenues, you know. Trash pickup, that's something else we need to talk about. You know, I like to know exactly what's going on that end, as far as what that service is going to be and what it's going to look like and what we're responsible for. I still like to see that a little bit more clear. But I like to see the cuts come down a little bit. I mean, $25, I believe we can come back down to 20 and help ourselves out a little bit. You know, I'm like Bobby. I want it said on record that I didn't come up here and continue taxing our community, continue raising rates on our community, and not try to make some cuts and help this community. I just wanted to be said, and I hope that we do that. I hope we look at that. We're all citizens. We're paying it right here at this table. Ms. Bennett, Tammy, me, and we know that these citizens here, and if we raise that rate, I can guarantee you, we're gonna affect a lot of rental property people that's barely making it by. And I look at some of these rents, and we really need to do that.
If I may,
Just real quick, so let me respond to some of that. So, the town of Wadesboro had not raised their property tax in 25+ years. In 2024, we raised it, well, last year we raised it 6 cents. We are keeping the citizens in mind. We certainly understand, but we have to run a government to provide services for our citizens. You're absolutely right. We need more revenue. We need more manufacturing coming in here to do that. And once that happens, absolutely, I'm a proponent for rolling it back. But right now, as it stands right now, sir, we need the revenue in order to provide service for these citizens, right? The garbage collection, you're losing $48,000 a year. So for the last 5 years, you lost almost $250,000 in that department, right? We raised the garbage rate by $4.25. Not 40, $4, right? And so we are keeping the citizens in mind. So, and Mr. Sellers has some very valid points, and I certainly agree with some of those, but we have to run a government, you know, revenue neutral is something that you do when you are in a position to do that, right? When you are these flourishing communities like Monroe, these big cities like Charlotte. You mentioned Monroe and Charlotte. You can't compare to those cities because they're bigger. They have more revenue. They have more manufacturing, more industrial.
Do you have an example of a municipality that has went revenue neutral lately?
Not that is a tier 1 county, not that.
All across North Carolina. I think it was one, was it York?
Oh, it was, I'm sorry, yes, it was,
Or Fort Mill?
it was York County, it was
Yeah.
Fort Mill. Fort Mill went revenue neutral. They have
So tell me their budget.
their budget is like $200 million, and they have $120 million in fund balance. So they roll back their tax collection rate, right? So they can afford it. We're not Fort Mill.
And I agree with that, but, you know, I hear, we're not this, we're not that, we're not that. We're not, 100% right. We are Wadesboro, we are Anson County, and if our people can't afford it, so we're looking at roughly around 5,000. We keep throwing that number out, it may go up, may go down. We're asking 5,000 people in the city of Wadesboro to fund something that they're already can't afford. I mean, let's just be honest. I hear it all the time. I see it. We're constantly in the community. I mean, I'm volunteering, this man right here can tell you, I'm volunteering out of my pocket. There is no 501c3 sitting on my shelf nowhere. It is cash out of my pocket. When that young man right there needs something, it's cash out of my pocket. I may not always can be there, but if he needs it, he gets it, along with that gentleman there or anybody else. Everybody can't do that, and everybody can't pay these taxes. And so I just think it's just irresponsible from us, when we're gonna make a little bit, our taxes is gonna go up, we're gonna make a little bit off that revenue neutral. There's gonna be a little bit of money. I just think taking that to the extreme is, you know, I'm just one person on this board, but I just want to be said for everybody who came out, and I say reconnection fees need to go down, late fees need to go down. I want the people that voted for me in this community to know that I'm gonna stand up for what I said I was. And I think we need to take a hard look at revenue neutral. We need to take a look at these fees. If nothing else, for a little while, to help this community out. It don't take a rocket science to ride around and see where we're at. It just don't.
So, Mr. Sellers, if I'm hearing you correct, the fees,
Yes, sir.
you're talking about basically the water fees, or what's the system, just fees in general? Or?
Well, the water fee, we can't, and I'll be honest, I don't like paying them. Every time I get my water bill, I cringe. But the county's gonna go up, we can't help it. I mean, you know, you know, you have to go over to the county board and fuss at them, because I don't drink my water, I buy water, so I spend $100 a week, month, whatever.
So what fees are you, just, I mean, there's a line in there,
Well, for the citizens,
Just,
for the general,
fee schedule begins on page 20.
and I had it marked, I thank you for telling me that. Right now, the ones that I hear that the people are complaining the most about, is the, you know, and we tried to creep it up this year, and Miss Tammy, you know, I thank her for helping me stand up for it, and, bringing it back down to $50, but, you know, the reconnect fee, I mean,
the reconnect fee, what are you thinking, sir?
I'd like to see it down about $25. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'd like to cut that a little bit, give a little bit back to the community. You know, it was something that we've gone up with a little bit of other fees. I think that's something we can give back to our community. I just, it's in my heart.
Council, are you open to, dropping that to 25? From 50 to 25?
I am,
So,
I am, because, and I'll tell you why.
So,
I'm like Donald, I help people pay water bills every month,
we all do.
and so it'll help me too.
I'll be in support of it.
Yeah.
Support.
I would support that too,
To
if
reduce
it
it
help the
down.
people.
From 50 to
So even
25.
people I support it, I got something to say about it. If you should, they're still not gonna pay it. Okay? Let's be real about it. You can drop it down to $5. help people pay water bill. But when you pay their water bill, guess what gonna happen? They're gonna keep their money in their pocket. Okay?
That's
So
true.
if we're gonna go forward, or we're gonna keep going backwards, this ain't no this year problem. Been 15-year problem, okay? You can't keep going and giving, and they not coming forward, okay? We can drop it down, but guess what? Come next month, they won't pay it.
I will tell you, I don't know if you remember, but that reconnect fee was raised last year to $50. It was $25 the prior year. And our hope was that if we raised the reconnect fee, that people would pay their bill on time.
How did
That fee,
Change-
that
how
fee.
did that work
well,
out?
Hold.
How did
That fee
work
was $50. It was raised to 75. The mayor brought it to the council's,
I'm sorry, you're right.
the count,
I
that
stand
brought it to the council's.
I stand corrected.
Well, let me finish.
Yep.
Brought it to the council's attention. I called Mr. Lawrence Parsons and I told him, I said, you do realize what you've done to the people? And I'll give it to him. He said, sir, it's my mistake. You're 100% right. And he came back, sitting in that seat, and brought it to the board, and then took it down.
You're right.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I
stand
don't
corrected.
know a lot, but I understand a few things.
I stand corrected.
So we're looking at $25, and I agree with Mr., it's darn if you do, darn if you don't. That's
right.
where we're at.
Yes, sir.
And we know people will take that and do that, but again, we're in the people business, citizen business, so at 25, we're gonna take it to 25.
Yes, sir.
Okay? Is there anything else?
So change that.
Back to
Okay.
25.
Right, 25.
All right. There's no more?
I'm gonna say this, if we're gonna continue with that contract with the trash company, I think there's some we can cut there, because we know what the cost is, what it's gonna cost us for that company to come in here. I don't wanna lower it more than 20, I like to take it back to 20, because from my understanding, we're still gonna be responsible for some of that, as far as the trash cans and maybe picking up some stuff, is that right?
We're just responsible for the Friday pickup for large furniture.
How about the trash cans? Do we have to keep up with that, or are they gonna provide the trash cans?
No, we provide the trash cans, that's the way the contract, the language. Yes,
Those
sir.
trash cans, we have stockpile down there.
Yes, sir.
We bought like 6 or 7 years ago.
Yeah, we got like 200 of them left.
So we will make sure that the people get the trash cans, we keep up with who moves out, who does all that. And so, you know, I'd like to take it back to 20. That's giving back to the community a little bit, but that's still keeping a little bit above what we're gonna be charged for trash pickup. Solely because I know we're gonna have to buy some trash cans, we still got to have somebody that's gonna go out and keep up with all this.
We got 200 in stock, so we won't have to buy trash. We got 200.
You know, they're just, you know, in my
I
eyes,
see what you're saying, sir.
and I agree with y'all, there's not, we can't help everybody, some people got to help themselves, but I know we got some elderly people in this community that it's gonna affect, between whether they paying the light bill or the food, so.
So let's start. For 25,
Just keep it the same, $20.75.
25, let's look at 22 split the difference. Council?
You talking about for the garbage collection?
Sanitation fee.
Sanitation fee to charge the citizens?
Mhm.
Yeah, so, if you do anything, less than 25, you should just go back to having a sanitation department and keep losing money, because that's what you're gonna do. So, you're raising the sanitation fee $4.25 per customer. $4, not 40, 4.
But what are we being charged for that company to come in and pick up residential?
$18.50.
$18.50.
It's trash and limbs and leaves.
Yeah, but we're charging 25, but we're not in that business no more. All we doing is, we're getting a reduction, we're passing it on to the consumer.
Correct.
We're helping our residents out, that's that guy's problem, we're just gonna collect the money and give it to him. I'm saying that, you know, Uptown's 20, residential's 18.50. We should be passing these costs as good stewards of the community. We're not here to make a bunch of money. We're here to make sure we budget this balance this budget, and we come out equal. If we're only getting 18,
That's not the
charging
purpose,
18.
sir. No,
But
yeah,
we're
that's
coming-
not, yeah,
we're
that's not
coming
how
out
that works.
equal. We still have
Yeah,
a deficit.
yes, so we're still dipping into our fund balance to balance the budget, sir. Again, so we're gonna make $106,000. We would put that towards other essential services, fire, police. So we won't have to spend that money out of the fund balance. So you've been losing $48,000 a year for several years. Losing, not making, losing.
Well, the problem-
And all we're proposing now is that we just charge the citizens $4.25 more.
We-
So, please, and maybe Mr. Sellers, you can help me with this. Name somewhere in America where you can get your garbage collected for $25.
Put it in
Name-
the back
I
of
mean,
the truck,
name-
drive it to Polkton, and you can dump it for free.
Yeah,
Whatever
Polkton's
they
800
charge you.
people.
But here's the thing.
Yeah.
We
That don't
say
compare.
that, but I want the community to know that we voted on a thing the other day, it was $58,000 for some cybersecurity. So when we say we're losing 49,000 and we need to save 49,000, we can't go out and spend 58,000 if we're losing money.
We're spending $58,000 to protect our financial investments, sir, which we have millions of dollars in the bank. So, yeah, I would spend 58 grand for that protection.
So-
The thing with the, trash pickup, we'll make sure that we're keeping our garbage truck, we're keeping the limb truck, we're keeping what we have.
Right.
And if it goes down, if it goes south, we're back up with garbage, we're back up with limb. And the thing about it is, with our limb truck and all that, sometimes it's down more than it's up.
It's down right now.
It's down more than it's up.
Yeah, it's down right now.
It gives us a chance. It's down, and we all know it's been down, up and down, so gives us a chance to, we have funds to make sure if that emergency rises, that bam, we can go get it done. I don't think, you know, this company, they may have someone out sick or whatever, but we still have to make sure our equipment is on call and ready to go if it needs to go. Don't need to wait to throw it. So we, regardless of whatever we need to do, we need to get that ram truck up and fix it,
We got to have it, because we're gonna pick up furniture with
Yeah,
it.
yes, we got it. But that's all. There's,
No, I mean, are we gonna just leave it at 25, we're gonna go to 2250, or we're just gonna leave it the same? I mean, it's a pleasure of the council.
We don't never know whether anything will work unless we try it. If you never try anything, you don't know whether it's gonna work or not. So you make a decision, then you fall back on it. If you make a decision, stick with the decision that you made. And then if it don't work out, you can always do something else.
So you wanna leave it at 25?
I think so.
Okay, sounds good, just as long as the consumers know. I mean, I tried, I want them to know.
25,
Sounds good.
anything.
Nothing other than I strongly urge us to look at revenue neutral. I really do. The county's looking at it. They're not crazy. We cannot raise our property tax higher. And I think, and I'll do a little bit more research, because I had to do a little bit more research on that, and I'm waiting on some paperwork, and I'd like to talk to our IT guy before tonight's over with on that, other project. I think we should have got in touch with the League of Municipality first. After talking to them, we could have got some help to reduce that bill.
Sir, I've already contacted them. They're gonna give, there's a grant available that we would.
Not a grant. It was actually some classes and actually coming in and looking at our whole network and getting us some free stuff.
I was talking about the grant that they offer for
But,
cybersecurity. It's like 30,000, but yeah.
Yeah, that's a drop in the bucket what we're gonna pay, but I think with some of the stuff that's going on and some of the business that's looking to come in here, I think we need to look attractive, and I just hate to see us, raise it that high, I really do. If we're gonna say we're poor and we're taking care of the community, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we can't go out there and pray in the streets and then come in here and do opposite, be the devil of it. So-
Just real quick, I don't know what the county has done. Mr. Sellers mentioned revenue neutral. From my understanding, I don't know if they passed or not. Has it not been passed yet? I think no, it hasn't. Okay.
No,
All right. But I think the projection is a $4 million deficit, correct? Yeah, so $4 million deficit, yeah, in the county. I don't know how you get past that. We cannot afford that.
It would be 1 million for us.
I'm sorry?
It would be 1 million for us.
Yeah.
Or close to.
Yeah.
If I can just say one thing, and then I'm gonna sit down and shut up. If we do decide to look at revenue neutral, I just want everybody here to know that Mr. Ross and I, in the short time that I've been here, have spent countless hours looking at this budget. We are fully aware of the citizens' situation and are beyond sympathetic for it, with the situation. I would like somebody, Mr. Sellers, to come to my office. I'm only working part-time, but to come to my office, I can send you the spreadsheet tonight that shows every single line item and an explanation as to why I budgeted what I budgeted. And if you want to cut the revenue, I'm all about it. I get it. I totally get it.
Do that for me.
But
Do that for me.
I need
And
you to find, in turn, we need to cut the expenses.
Do that for me. Send that to me. You got my email.
I can do that.
And and what I was getting to with, about what Bobby said, and I think I read this, we've got to do a whole nother meeting if we're gonna go above what this tax rate is. We're not gonna go revenue neutral. I think we've got to have a separate meeting on that tax
would-
rate.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but I looked into it.
Let's confer to the attorney.
So what you have to do is you have to propose what revenue neutral looks like, what that number is, which I think I've got that at 40.3.
Yes.
I did that.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So that has to be put out to the public, so you see, if you're not going to, then everything else on top of that is your normal budget process, where you decide what the new tax rate is going to be.
And my understanding is,
One meeting, you have to do it, you have to announce it, what you're doing it here, have a public meeting, then you're having a meeting set in 2 weeks.
Right.
To make a decision on that.
So we need to push that out and let everybody know in the community that that meeting will be for that tax.
It's
Yes.
June 22nd.
Yeah.
is to be voted on.
June the 22nd.
Yeah.
June the 22nd. You'll get that out there and let people know, so everybody will know.
We're voting on the 22nd.
You're voting on the
22nd.
22nd. This is the public hearing notifying the citizens that revenue neutral figure is 40.3 cents.
And if we don't go that is,
And if we don't go revenue neutral, the tax rate remains the same,
which is,
61.6
Six.
cents.
Yeah.
Which is what it is this fiscal year.
6 cents.
61.6 cents. Am I saying that right? Yeah, that's right. 0.616.
At this time,
Go back. Oh.
at this time, we're down to, old business. Discuss and consider approving contractual services with Anson County Tourism.
Yeah, Mayor and member of council, this is a contract between Anson County Tourist Development Authority and the town to enter into a interlocal agreement in reference to our banners and our poles. Basically, we will maintenance and service the poles and the banners, and the tourist authority will purchase the banners, and we have a partnership with them. So this is establishing a partnership with the Tourist Development Authority.
I
Need
make a
a vote.
motion to approve that.
I second.
All in favor? Pass unanimous. Thank you. Discuss and consider approval of the volunteer firefighter contract.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, I have been working diligently with Mike Blake, who is the attorney for the volunteer fire department. I've had some conversations with you all, I think over the weekend as well, and there have been some change in terms where, and basically the focus is on who's actually gonna be controlling the property, whether it's going to be, right now, and how it's always been, is that the town of Wadesboro owns the property, and you either have leased it or you have the Wadesboro Fire Department doing fire operations on the property. We've been having conversations about whether or not to change that to either convey the property over to the fire department or to raise the ability for the town of Wadesboro to use the property when it's not being used for fire operations specifically. We've been having some back and forth on that, and at this stage, we're not quite in the place where I can have a contract for you all to actually vote on it tonight. What you have in your packet is where we were as of Friday afternoon, but it has changed conversation about whether or not the city wants to transfer the property over to the fire department as part of the arrangement going forward. So we're not quite there yet. We will certainly we'll get I's dotted and T's crossed by the time of your next meeting, which is in 2 weeks. I've just got have a couple of exchanges with Mr. Flake during this meeting, but that's where we are, is that we're still trying to talk about whether or not to transfer the ownership of that property to the Wadesboro Fire Department, Wadesboro Volunteer Fire Department as part of this agreement.
Okay.
Now,
So,
do-
two things, well, go ahead, Mr. Ross.
Hunter is here, he's the president. Do you want to come up and speak in terms of what's going on? We've been trying to resolve this issue.
Yes, my understanding you do have the contract though, right?
I have a contract, yes.
Okay, all right, we've presented our contract to Mr. Flake, and he has told me he's presented it to Mr. Baker. We're just waiting to hear back on if that gets approved or not, to know where we go from there. We don't have no answers on when that's gonna get approved. It's not been brought to y'all to be voted on. We don't know what to do from this point. We've made our recommendations clear, what we want. We're done on our end.
And
We've
what
made
were
it.
your recommendations?
There's several recommendations in there. There's no change in our contract, other than a few minor things, and our recommendations was.
So one thing was the per call was $22.
Yes, sir.
Now, I think,
We originally requested 25, we agreed to meet in the middle at 22.
yep, okay. And then there was reference to the property. What was the stance on the property?
Our stance
Can
on.
I ask you a question?
Yes.
I got one contract here sitting in front of me, and it was a pleasure of this board, several members of this board, to convey that property over to them volunteers. Unless I'm missing something, did y'all get a contract written up over that? Did y'all
We
have
have
any?
nothing written up over anything.
Did you have any information that this board seek?
I got a phone call today, from our attorney, stating that there was a interest in, a few different things with the building, and if the town was gonna accept the lease, that, the 10-year lease, we was notified we could not do the 30, which makes sense.
Excuse me for cutting you off, but at first, we didn't propose a lease. We proposed to give you the building, and y'all refused it.
That's correct.
We requested for the lease, is what we requested for, that she had to be voted on.
Right, but I mean, what Donald is saying and what I'm saying is
We've
at
not
first,
received any.
we agreed, did we not?
There
Agreed
was-
to give y'all
Give
the
it to
building, and Mr. Blake said y'all did not want the building, you were not prepared. So that's why we're back at the lease,
Well,
which we're not opposing, but I just wanna get the facts straight.
And-
Donald is correct. We did offer to give the building.
Yes, that was offered, that was 100%, it was offered, but our negotiations have, nothing's ever been voted on.
No,
Nothing's ever been voted on, so we don't know where to move forward at if nothing's been voted on. Y'all have to be the ones at the end of the day to approve.
well,
I-
we're cool with the lease.
I'm gonna go back, because even as of late this afternoon, and forgive me if I'm gonna be wrong, there's changes being made and sent to us.
But when they first came in, what it was all about?
Main
They
point.
wanted the building,
Main point, and it's been the council's, from my vantage point, and our position that you could have the building since January, February.
the only-
That's been our position, excuse me, that's been our position the entire time. And we haven't got no feedback from you all until this last month, with the negotiations. And
Our negotiations, well, I was
excuse
our
me,
negotiations.
the only
were
changes
good.
have been on your end.
Yes, sir, and
the-
it's been
now-
very minor.
But you came to a public meeting
Yes,
and
sir.
stated that, you know, you guys was leery about even answering calls if you didn't have this building.
No, that was never said on our end of any of our members were leery on answering calls, and if it was not done in a public hearing. We've had no members or no drop in service or any account of drop in
I didn't
service.
accuse you of dropping service, but that was a contentious point, the building. We have been in the, view of letting you have this building.
Correct. Y'all have. We've tried to make a negotiation with the town that has not been voted on. We have no answer on
Hey,
that.
do y'all have a copy of the revised
I do not.
changes?
Patrick has that.
Okay, so you haven't, you ain't agreed on that. All right. Number two, you came to us with a 60-year or something like that.
It was a 30.
30-year contract. This board was aware of it. I'm not gonna sit here and lie. I'm not gonna do that. I mean, you know, you got to answer to God one day, Childers, right? You got to answer to it. So I'm not gonna lie. This board said, no, we want to give them the building. Asked Mr. Patrick to go back. Did you go back and start negotiations with them on that?
Yes, when we had our meeting in May, you all made it very, very clear to me, that the first choice of a majority of the board was to convey the property to them, outright.
Yes, sir.
I put that in writing. There were some discussions in April about whether we wanted to do that or not, but what I heard loud and clear, from the May meeting, was, no, that's our first option, is to convey the property, which is what I did. And Mr. Flake and I have been having conversations about what that looks like. And in fact, I have put together, changes to the contract that would accommodate a conveyance of the property outright to the fire department. These conversations have been ongoing, and I think I told some of you all that it looks like that's where we were going, was to convey the property. On Friday, Mr. Flake told me that because of the uncertainties of some of the costs associated that would now be borne by the fire department and not the city, since it won't be our property any longer, that they weren't prepared to commit to taking the property. So that's when we switched back to the lease, which is the document that you have in front of you. Now, I've had conversations with several of you because I had to backtrack a little bit because I thought we were going down a path and then we weren't. And then there were questions about use of the property when it's not being used specifically for fire department operations. At that point in time, I put together a proposal that has not been accepted by the fire department, but I shared with the attorney changes to section 4 of the agreement that would address the time that the building is not being used for fire department operations. Basically, if we are still owning the property and doing the upkeep on the property, we would like access to that property when it's not being used for fire department purposes. I got a call from Mike Flake at around 3 o'clock today saying that's going to be a problem for the fire department and that they would like to revisit the concept of having the property conveyed to them. But yeah, it was clear they wanted exclusive authority to do that.
Now, are you aware of any of this, all of it?
I
Your
think
board.
there's a little bit of, I was contacted today around 2 o'clock from Mike and explained that. I think there may be some misconception of what was meant by that. How I took it at what was read to me was, other than every first and third Monday, we pretty much, that was our designated time for the facility. There's things that we have that we may have to do last minute. It may be a last minute called meeting as such. If we don't have access to do that, then how are we supposed to continue our business?
I don't
on
think
this?
So from our perspective, the fire department would get first dibs anytime you need that building.
Yeah,
And I get something could happen just as well. We've always let the town use the building at any time, every time it was asked.
Absolutely.
And
Look,
we've
so
always-
Hunter's absolutely correct. We've never had a problem using that building for our purposes. So the volunteer fire department has first dibs, period. Blanket use of that building.
Yeah, we won't restrict your
We won't
use.
restrict it at all. No, okay? The bottom line here, folks, is that we want to work with the volunteer fire department, right? Because you are absolutely a necessity for our community, right?
Right.
And so we want to work with you. So what that means is that maybe there's a misconception or misunderstanding, but we don't want to restrict your usage. However, I think what Patrick is saying, and what we were saying, that if you or guys are not using it, that the town has autonomy to use it when they want to. And is that, am I clear, folks? Is that what we're, okay. So-
And that's, like I said, that was brought on to me at
Okay.
2 o'clock
Okay.
today, and I have not had
Yes.
time to meet with our board to sit down and discuss all the options of
Gotcha.
that. If that is gonna be the case, I think there could be guidelines put in place off of that.
Sure.
Between both parties.
Absolutely.
I personally
And I think
believe.
that's what we were,
And I looked
But-
at it as, as the town and the fire department agreed to coordinate you haven't seen it, you just got this, and this is conversations that we have been having. I'm just
So
letting
we
the,
need-
the council know that's where we are in this. And to be clear, I just want to say, look you in the eyes when I say it, under no circumstances have I gotten from this board that we want to interfere with fire department operations. It is the downtime of the building, and that's been a source of discussion, which is why I think that's why it was sent to me. You know, we can just get out of this altogether by simply giving them the building, then you don't have to worry about any of that whatsoever. So that's where we are, and Mr. Flake and I have some work to do, because this is something that he just got, because it's been.
Was that conveyed to you, that this board wanted to just go ahead and give you the building, and did you sit down with Michael Flake? I guess that's your lawyer, Michael Flake.
I was told that, yes, but I was also told a 10-year lease agreement was an option as well.
It is.
It is.
What
That's why I
what
went down,
my-
I just didn't know the stipulations of that.
What my intention to do, Hunter, is to work with what you all need. Now, I suggested giving you the building, but if that's gonna put an undue burden on you guys, we'll go back to the lease. So the only thing we're waiting on is for you to decide what you want. Now, and if the lease is better for you all, let's do it.
And see, and this is, I would say, other than, I would say a comment from our lawyer of, there's been wishy-washiness a little bit back and forth between, because we've been told the 10-year, we've been told to, give it to us, but we was told to vote on the 10-year. That's why we're here now. That's why we're here to see, to vote on
Well, I
the
don't
10-year.
think your attorney
And that's
is-
how I was told.
Your attorney's not-
We
I
never
don't
told
want,
nobody to
so,
vote on
so,
that.
Hunter, let me say this, and Patrick can, he can attest to this. I requested that your attorney be here, right?
Correct. And
So
me
we
and
can
him
stop
spoke.
all this going back and forth,
Correct.
right? And we can speak to him directly,
Yes.
right?
Correct, and me and him have quoted why he is not here this evening, and he did prefer any questions for any of y'all to be in contact with him.
Okay.
Send him an email.
All right, let's do this. We have attorneys, let the
them
attorneys,
handle
Handle it. I
let the
just wanna
attorneys handle
know-
this, and let's move on.
I just want, and the only reason I'm asking is, and I want Patrick to go back and handle it, is that I can't leave out of here with us saying one thing, and then, on a Friday, I open a packet and I got a 10-year lease. And I expect to come back and say, if we either do a 10-year lease or we take the building, here's the contract. Now, do we have possession of this building? That we can lease it or contract?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it's our building.
So I would like to see, if you want a lease for 10 years, give us a lease for 10 years. If you want the building, I'd like to see something that says, something,
If I can just say to the board and to the department and the public.
so we can get this over with.
I think that there's just a misunderstanding as to some of the last minute pieces, but I think we're very close to making a decision on, that I can present to you. And the reason the council hasn't done anything is because I like to give them a contract where we've got agreement before we give it to council. So I want to be able to say, the fire department and the town are in agreement on X,
And
and
may-
that's when they would vote.
And may I ask, there's nothing wrong with the contract that you have, it's the lease agreement, correct?
It's, no, the ultimate question is, do you want the building, or do you want to do a lease for 10 years with an understanding that the town will have access to the building when it's not being used specifically for fire department?
Correct, and to my understanding, the building's always been like that, and that's the thing, this has been brought upon me today. I'm going by what my legal counsel has, I've not talked to you. My legal counsel has told me that we are going to try the 10-year and go on that. Today, I had stipulations that raised concerns of some of our members today. I think we should have had further talking on that, a little bit in depth and not such late notice, in my opinion, before we got to this point tonight.
What stipulations that you have?
That's what we had spoke on a while ago on the
It's the
use.
piece that, and I
What's
sent you all an
stipulation?
email, I sent you all an email today. I've shared it with a couple of you, and I've got hard copies that I can give to you. What I wanted to do, if we were getting back to a lease of the property, is to clarify that downtime when the building is not being used, that the town will have access to it.
Okay.
Always had that.
And that's true, and this document doesn't change that. And that's where Mr. Flake and I need some discussion to make sure that he understands what I meant.
And me and him will be talking further tomorrow and explaining a few things. and he'll get back.
We'll have it, I know it's been gentlemen understood, but we'll have it in writing now that it'll be in black and
Excuse
white
me.
now.
I
Okay.
like, do they have an old contract?
They do.
They do have an old contract?
Yes, from 2019 that expired in June of last year.
This expired.
Just,
The new contract in large part off of the old contract.
Chief,
so,
what's the time frame with the, status with the state? We gotta have this rectified in order to be,
yeah, I was gonna call Chief Martin up here, and so, Scott has made it very clear to me that we need to get this deal done, by the 30th.
30th.
Yeah, because there are some state ramifications if we don't. Scott, go ahead and explain to them what that is.
So, Mayor, member of council, I have urged this to both sides, being the kind of the liaison between, you guys, board, and the volunteers, that we need to have this contract in place by June the 30th. If we do not, we are in violation of our insurance rating, all right? If everybody wants to see it, walk outside, as opposed to on this board right here, on this back wall, it tells you what your insurance rating is. That's what each and every person in our fire district, which is 85 square miles, pays, a premium based off of what your rating is. It goes from a 1 being the best, which is the Charlotte Fire Department, all the way down to a 10, which means you don't have fire service or fire protection. We're dead in the middle, we're at a 5. So you guys are getting a discount on your insurance. If we do not have a deal in place by June 30th, I am making a phone call, because I don't want it to come back on me, to let the state know, because we've already been in contact with the state, telling them, hey, we've got a hiccup for our contract, because we have to have that open transparency with them at all times. If they come in here, they're gonna hit us for state violation, could potentially move us to a class 10 insurance rating, which means we have no fire protection, because the paid staff is not enough. We don't have enough people to act as a fire department. So that's kind of where we are.
Okay.
thank you.
So you're gonna go back to your board, talk to your lawyer, and then get back with Pat?
Yes, we will be getting back. I don't wanna sit here and negotiate back and forth
Thank
tonight
you.
in this
Thank you.
circumstance. Like, I don't wanna do that. I
Thank you.
think there's some things that we need to talk about, and our lawyer needs to talk about, to get back with Patrick after today and discuss a few things, is personally what I believe, but it's such a late notice. Nobody has time, really, as busy as everybody is today, time to get from 2 o'clock to 5.
Yeah,
How are you gonna make that work?
you're right.
So,
All right.
but,
Thank you.
I'll be getting with our lawyer.
Thank you. At this time, item old business down to C, discuss and consider approval of amendment job classification to police/code enforcement officer.
Yeah, Mayor and members of council, we just put the code enforcement is very big. We're gonna start to really, tackle that, in the town. We got over 200 blighted properties, and so we're gonna, that position will be with the police department. And we just changed the job description, as such.
I'll make a motion to accept that.
Hold, I wanna ask the chief something. Is this taking one of your officers off the street?
It will be one detective, he'll be doing an investigation. From what we're adding, it'll be the detective, he'll be assigned and work, investigations on code violations, also work on animal control, with the violations there, so that will be the new position.
New hire, or what?
It'll be the agency, but that will be where that salary comes from, is one of the new positions given us to have an officer, because, I think it was like 17% of our calls are code violation calls. And with minimum staff, we don't have time to investigate, follow through, so this officer will be assigned to all code calls, going back, sending out letters, investigating anything with that area. He'll be, it is labeled as an investigator technically, but that'll be his main goal. And he'll help out, if we have something major happen, but he'll stay pretty busy. Like I said, a lot of our calls is code violation. Neighbors calling about vehicles and debris and stuff people's left. So that's his main job. He's focusing on investigation, sending out letters to people's violations.
You ain't picked nobody yet for this job? You gonna put it out there and see who's the best candidate?
I do have a man in mind.
Okay.
We need a motion.
I second it. She made a motion, I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Down to new business, discuss approval contract to service Southern Software System for meter change out.
Mayor, members of council, we're in the process of changing out our old meters to new meters. We're buying them. But when we do that, FMS charges us a project fee for each time we implement the new change out. And so that's what this is. This is paying them, I think it's like $712 if it's in the, for them to change out the meters and integrate with our software system.
Is this the last change out?
It is not the last change out. We have, what we got? How many have we bought thus far, Nick?
What we had in stock was 170, I think was the number we went off of. Of those, we just got an invoice for the install of that 115, and then we plan to do another round sometime in the coming fiscal year.
We have 2,000 and something meters to buy. The town of Wadesboro has spent probably several $1,000s buying 3 or 4 wrong meters, right? And so when I came here, I said, we're gonna stop this. We're gonna get with the company, get a price, and we're gonna buy the meters. And that's what we've been doing. And so this FMS is gonna charge us per project to do this, to integrate with their system.
So that's my question. How many meters are left to be switched out?
Probably about 1,800, 1,900, a lot.
Somewhere in that
Yeah,
neighborhood.
so to buy them all at one time, it'd be over $2 million.
Right, no, I didn't want that. I just wanna know how.
So what is our capital outlay for that? How long we're planning on doing this, that we're gonna pay 7/12/50, 7/12, you know?
Well, we don't have the money to buy, 1,800 meters at $2.5 million, so we're gonna do it 200 at a time or 150 at a time, and because you also got to have the manufacturer be able to supply them, and so we're working with, is it Phoenix? Yeah, and so they are the one, they're our manufacturer, so we're trying to work with them. We don't have the capacity to buy 1,800 meters, and nor do we have the funds to do it.
This 150 is already in?
Yeah.
It's actually 115.
115? Okay, I just looked at the number here, I thought that's what that was.
So that's what we originally contracted for, simply because we didn't know, we had a hope how many we was gonna do, but because we did it in 3 different stages in that one contract, better to shoot high and come in low than run over budget with the PO.
So 115. So what is our actual number then? Because this is based on 150, so I don't want to overspend that.
At 115, and it was $7.50 per.
Yeah, it was $750 per meter, so it'd be like 700, what they gave you was a quote from FMS, $712 to do this project.
I know that, but if they're going to charge us for 115, I don't want to pay for 150 or give approval for 150 at $712.50. We're going.
No, Joe said he would hold true to that price in terms of if we need more or less.
All that was because we're trying to move everything forward within the fiscal year.
Yes.
We went ahead and made the quote for more, they just went to charge.
They won't charge you more, no.
Same thing we have to do with the meters. We
Well,
didn't know-
but when I vote and I stick my name on it, I'm voting for $712.50. I don't know what the actual cost is.
The actual cost is $712 is what they quoted you, sir. That's what you're voting on. Whether we go below that number or more, the price still stays the same, according to FMS.
Okay, so they gave us 115, but they billing us for 150, and I'm supposed to be happy about it.
Well, we ordered 150
We had 150 in stock.
in stock, yeah.
But they didn't get it done. Between what got done, because there's several extenuating circumstances why the whole 150 didn't get in. Number one, we don't want to wipe ourselves out. We have a meter blow apart or something else. We have to have meters in stock. Once G2 contract been finished the install, they finished out a number of 115. Once we go to FMS, they're gonna do 115 and only charge us at $7.50 for the 115. We didn't know how many it was, just to get the contract made, we made sure we got enough. We covered 150, the same way we did the, invoice for the contract with G2. That way we wouldn't go over. We knew we wouldn't spend no more than that amount. That's pretty cool.
Any more questions? Need a motion. Need a motion. Need a vote.
I make the motion.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
No.
One nay. Down to B, approval of budget amendment general fund to reflect the overall decrease of $119,560, include variance revenue increase throughout numerous tax years.
Maureen, you wanna talk
Yes.
about that?
So, it's my last opportunity to do a budget amendment this year. So when I came in last month, Ashley and I started going over line by line and found that there were many lines that we were receiving revenue in that had no budget, or that we received more revenue than we had previously budgeted. When we budget for previous years, it's kind of winging it. You look at last year, what your collection rate was for the previous years, look at what you collected, last year as a total, and I came up with figures, and there's a few years that we're coming in higher collection-wise, so I added money for that. For this fiscal year, we're looking at probably another $270,000 over what we budgeted. I took away $6,000 from Parks and Rec fees. That's a long story, but the money is going into another GL number. Rezoning, $6,000 more than we had budgeted. And then I stopped with the revenue. Then I moved on to expenditures, and I looked at every line item on expenditures, looked at the history this year, what have we been doing, what did we do last year, and I reduced or added every department's budget. And then the net effect was, we did not need $673,616 for a fund balance allocation. We only needed $273,616, so I reduced the fund balance allocation by $400,000. Now, this is a moving target. It's gonna change again by June 30th, but I think I can adjust within the department, so that's not gonna require council approval. So that's that. Any questions? Was I clear on that?
So we needed 600,000 at one time, and now we only need 200,000. And now, and so then we wanna get a lot of taxes from our people. I tell you, that's a lot of money.
When I prepared this budget last year, I believe I budgeted, just under $300,000 for a fund balance allocation. When I came in, there was, budget allocation, fund balance allocation of 673. I don't know why. I wasn't here. I'm trying to make this budget as clean as possible for y'all, so
Hey, I
this
love
is
it,
what I've
Jake.
come up with. Excuse
Jacob,
me?
yeah, I said, I love it. Jacob was making money. Shoot.
Excuse me?
I said, it was lovely Jacob was making money. I mean, if he was able to pull that much money out and save us, right? You said we needed 600,000 in that fund balance, and you pulled it down to 200,000, right?
Because the expenses were budgeted too high.
Okay, well, that's good. We're saving money. I love it. I love it.
Not really saving money, just getting back our own money.
So, can I do that? I can. We need a motion to approve,
The budget amendment.
yeah, budget amendment, of general fund to reflect an overall decrease of $119,506 to include various revenue increases throughout, numerous tax years.
I'll make that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Let's see. You would know?
Let's go with it.
Pass, unanimous, thank you. Next, item Want me to go ahead?
Yeah.
Yeah. Next item on the, agenda. Mr. Mayor, we on.
Another budget amendment.
C.
Yeah.
C.
Approval of the budget amendment, water sewer reflection, overall decrease in fund balance allocation of $39,609 to an increase of $3,700 for fees collected for meter tampering.
So, the fund balance allocation for water sewer of $39,609 that was placed there sometime this year is not allowed. I spoke to Danielle, and she explained to me that fund balance, water sewer doesn't really have a fund balance, and they have a net position, but she said that you should never budget a fund balance in water sewer, so I pulled it out. And then I adjusted the budget accordingly to where I feel like we are going to be set for the rest of the
Yes.
next few weeks. Any questions on that one?
Need a motion to approve that.
I make the motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Approval of the project ordinance amendment to transfer X amount of dollars from the water sewer fund.
So, last fiscal year, the budget, this project, the Wadesboro Industrial Park project, ended with a deficit balance of $51,437.62. This occurred because there was supposed to be 100,000 something?
Like, Anson County Economic Development Corporation is supposed to, I think $200,000. We spent $250 putting in utility streets, on this project, and Anson County Economic Development Corporation, did not move forward with their end of the project. And so that's
So,
what,
last year, Mr. Ross was battling back and forth I know this conversation came up numerous times at council meetings, and, so that's where we ended up. We're done fighting that battle, I guess. So we have a deficit balance. So the budget amendment that you just approved from water sewer included pulling $51,437.62 out of water sewer and moving it to this project to zero out that deficit.
Yeah.
That's what that budget.
and the conversation is still ongoing. We have a new person over there with Mr. Brody. We are in close contact, all the time about this project specifically, so we can, close this project out the right way. And he is absolutely, on board with, making something happen.
So we have to close this out. If that comes to fruition, then the money would go directly to the
To
water
that,
sewer
exactly.
department.
Well, I just want to make sure I don't want to get burnt again. We got everything in writing. They promised us something, they didn't deliver. So whatever they, get it in writing, black and white, because we gave 200-some thousand.
Absolutely.
But they have no recollection of that.
Yeah, so the
And we don't, and we searched high and low.
No
yeah.
paper trail.
Yeah, so before we got here, just to be clear,
Yeah,
the
we-
previous administration had a deal with Anson County Economic Development Corporation to, help us out with this project. We spent $250,000. We built the road, we did the infrastructure, the utilities, and they bought a piece of property. They in the middle of the project, got buyer's remorse and said they didn't want the property. And so, and that's where we're at, and we're still in constant negotiation with them.
But this we need to do in order to protect the town.
That's correct.
Yes, sir.
Any,
All right.
So we're gonna spend another 51, we're moving this 51,000 to,
We're
From
moving this
water and
51,000,
sewer.
I'm sorry,
from water and sewer to where?
to the project, what's it called again? Wadesboro
Wadesboro Industrial
Park
Park.
Project,
Yeah.
Fund 80.
And this is to cover,
This is to cover the $51,437.62 deficit that you see on the books. And the project reports have been, I haven't gone over that yet, but they're included in your packet, and you would see that, you should have seen that deficit when you looked at your reports.
Need a motion.
You already made a motion.
I make the motion.
I said,
All in favor?
Aye.
Right, pass it. Chief Martin. Diamond Electric.
You've got more.
Yeah, Diamond Electric, thank you.
So, Mayor and members of council, this is for the camera system at the town shop. It is, needs to be replaced. We're gonna just replace the actual hard drive instead of the cameras. Hopefully the cameras can continue to operate, but this is the cost that Diamond Electric has charged us to swap out the, the hard drive for the cameras. They were the vendor who had the contract initially. It's old, it's run its life course.
Oh, okay, go ahead. Need a motion.
Know how much is it?
$1,600. It's that right there by your phone.
Here's that new paper we got just about.
16,683.
I'll make a,
Go ahead.
go ahead, I said.
I make a motion for Diamond Electric to exchange
The hard drive
the hard drive
for the camera system,
the camera system at the,
Yeah. town shop.
town shop.
I said.
All in favor?
No,
You have one opposed.
Who opposed?
I did.
So,
Oh, okay.
And I want to say something before the chief starts. I'll save it to the end. Go ahead, chief.
Mayor, member of council, thank you guys for allowing me to speak tonight. I want to give you a progress report of several departments here. Wednesday of last week, we conducted a smoke alarm canvassing. We canvassed 11 neighborhoods, residential streets within Wadesboro. We installed, 13 streets were canvassed, 28 smoke alarms were installed, and we still have several smoke alarms left here in the fire department. That is something that we've done in partnership with American Red Cross. As you guys know, we've been heavily canvassing streets and communities here in Wadesboro, installing smoke alarms, so we are still doing that. Want to let you guys know about it. Today at 8:30 this morning, we started our summer camp. This is the 4th year we've done summer camp, and it'll continue on until Friday, when we will conclude. So I open the door for each of you to stop by, see what's going on. The only thing I can tell you is Wednesday we have a field trip planned. That field trip is contingent upon getting a ride, and then also making sure we're going to the airport. As long as the Med Center Life Flight is still there, they'll look at it. If not, then we'll go over to our training grounds and do some stuff there. So we've got a contingency plan just in case somebody needs that helicopter a little worse than we do. Moving down, the next one is a hot topic, is the splash pad. As everybody knows, the splash pad is down. It's hoping to get it up and operational relatively soon. It was no fault to us or anybody, I believe, just an act of nature. The control head that controls the splash pad, which controls all the water features, is not working. We've got a black screen of death. We've done everything we could to check it, to make sure. We've checked all of our power. There are some transformers that converts 120 volt AC to 24 volt DC. We've checked all that. Myself, Mr. Griffin, checked it. He checked behind me to make sure we were doing it right. We've got on the phone with Waterplay, who actually makes the water features. They've walked me through how to check it. I know it's broke. I need it fixed. I know what the problem is, so hopefully they're gonna send us a replacement screen. Me and Mr. Ross was talking earlier today. They do not have an estimated ship date yet, so we are right back where we were last year this time with the splash pad. And that was confirmed earlier through Rob. I have not heard anything from him. He said he was gonna check, but he has not gotten back to me, and that's after me and you spoke.
Scott, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Do y'all have one particular rep that you work with, or are you just calling somebody and getting it willy-nilly?
So it's hard to answer that question directly because there's so many hands that were in this project. And Mr. Ross can tell you, it was kind of just a, hey, we've got to figure this out. So if it is on the pump side, I talk to a person. If it's on the water play side, I talk to another person. The guy on the water play side, his name's JT, and he can tell me pretty much whatever I need. But then this morning, or excuse me, last week, when we knew we had the screen of death, I had to call Canada. So Nick come out there just to check on me. I was literally sitting on the tailgate of my truck on hold because there's no need for me to come up here and then they answer the phone and I got to drive, 5 minutes down the road. So I'm waiting on them to tell me. So it's a kind of a combination of back and forth between several different people. Great Southern Recreation is who sold us the splash pad, but I'm having to go through 2 or 3 different companies, which is nonsense.
And one of them is in Canada?
Yes, ma'am. And that is water play. That is actually the controllers that controls the water features that makes all the water come out, that they are in Canada.
That's crazy. So there's not one in the contiguous United States that we could find?
Not that, I wish I could answer that, but I don't really know a whole lot about this project, other than what last year, Mr. Ross said, Scott, get it up and running. So this has been a learning adventure for me.
Yeah.
That's kind of where we are. I wish I could give you some more, but I really don't. And Mr. Ross will tell you, the contract that was wrote, we might as well just.
You're
throw it
doing
in
a
the
good
trash,
job.
'cause it didn't really make a whole lot of sense. He's looked at it, I've looked at it.
Now,
I don't know if Mr.
you thinking this may be storm damage, do we need to go in there and put a surge protection in line with this, or do we already have it?
I have actually talked to the electrician that we use here for the town, and he actually recommended that.
Okay.
And so we're in the process of trying to figure all that out now. While we're still going down the electrical road, I'll go ahead and hit on this. All the underground power that feeds the splash pad needs to be replaced. I can't tell you who's at fault there. Whenever it was installed improperly. Whenever they done the grading work, to make it all try and look pretty, it's been nicked 2 times and then it blowed out once.
Yeah,
So
it blowed out
It's been
once,
repaired 3
yeah.
times.
Yeah.
And so I'm in the process of trying to get a quote on that, and me and Mr. Griffin think that we can handle that ourselves in-house, and not have to outsource that, but we've got to, replace it. If not, we're gonna be right back here again. If we're kind of prolonged for, a little while on getting this black screen of death fixed, we may go ahead and try and get this underground fixed, but a lot of that's contingent on his day-to-day operations, and then, we've got summer camp this week, so I'm completely out of the picture, and I'm not sure what all Mr. Griffin has going on. Yes, sir.
That was gonna be my question. Was it possible to try to do them both simultaneously, or while?
That's my
you're waiting?
goal. Like I said, with us having summer camp, I'm completely out of the mix all week, here, because I wanna, devote my time with the children.
Yeah.
Because that's ultimately where my heart is in the fire service. I understand that the splash pad is something for the children, but also at the end of the day, I want to ensure that the young folks here can learn life-saving measures to where the splash pad is just something fun for them to get wet in.
Now you running, is this a service engine cable that you running from where?
This is the service cable that runs from the bathrooms. There's a breaker box on the back of the bathrooms
Okay.
that supplies all the power to it. It transfers power from, your meter to that bathroom, and then from there, it goes all the way down to the pump house. In there, there's 2 more panels in there. And this is the underground that goes from the bathrooms to the pump house.
Hey, and this is this on our plate? Are we eating this now, or we
Yes.
getting some help?
I don't know who's at fault for that.
I'm
I
talking
don't
about
even
for
know where to
the whole
begin.
screen and the death and
The black screen of death is being,
Under
taken care of.
warranty.
Yeah, under
That's covered
warranty.
under warranty.
Okay.
So who laid the lines?
I don't know.
You said what now?
The underground utilities, I'm not sure who's
Uh,
at.
So did
our-
the company do it, or we
No,
did?
no, I think we did that. Again, now, when I said this project started in
Before
2022,
us, yeah.
way before Scott and Nick got here, way before I got here. So when.
Even
when-
before I got
Yeah,
here.
so when we got here in 2024, we said enough's enough. We want this project done, right? And so I called Scott. He wasn't happy about it, but I put him over it. And Scott has been a trooper. I mean, him and Nick have been out there working like crazy last year to get this done, right? To get it even running for last year's season. And so now here we are again with some more issues. And again, we're just trying to make this thing work, and we're going to. Thank God they're covering it under warranty. But the underground, that was the previous administration. That was our department that put that in there, and it wasn't done correctly.
Questions?
So Scott, so just to be clear, we are waiting for the
Waiting on the controller.
Control board to come,
in.
right.
As soon as the control board gets here, and Ms. Cox can allude to it, I told her today, hey, when a package comes, because I had it sent to the town hall, because I can't guarantee somebody will be here at the fire department. I said, when a package comes, because they've got to sign for it, let me know. It's got my name on it. As soon as it gets here, call me, and I'll get over there and try and get it fixed.
And then, my recommendation, I'm sorry, Mr. Sellers.
I was
just
just
real
gonna
quick.
say, at the least, should we go ahead and be looking for a surge protector if you can't change that wire? Because if that wire is giving issues between point A and point B, you have a reduction, and all this electronics is sensitive nowadays.
Yeah.
I mean,
And that's
at
the
least-
problem, it takes 120 volts, and you know more about it than I do. We're converting 120 volt AC to 24 volt DC, so there is a significant drop in power, and it's completely changing power. So that is something that I am actively in the process of trying to do. Before we put it in there, we're gonna make sure that we've got this
I think we need one regardless, even if you get the line changed.
Well,
Exactly,
that's
yeah.
one of the things that
Yeah.
we've done here. Our electrician has put in, I believe it was either 3 or 4 surge protectors in the fire department, because y'all know half the stuff in here, electronics, don't work. Sometimes they get finicky, they start acting ridiculous. We're gonna put that same system in down there. Yes, sir.
So Scott, we're gonna make sure we do Mr. Sellers' recommendation,
Yes, sir.
surge protector, and also while we got it down, I would recommend that we go ahead and do fix the
That's
electrical
correct.
problem.
We're gonna try and go ahead and fix it. A lot of it just kind of reverts back to
Yeah.
what his workload is, because I've gotta have some of his help.
Yeah.
It's not something that I can do by myself. I gotta have some extra hands, and unfortunately, there's only just a couple of me and Nick. Moving down the list here, I do have a positive. So the Waysboro Fire Department received a $10,000 grant. I let Mr. Ross know, we received that grant toward the first part of this month, the latter part of last month. That grant's gonna help us buy one radio, so we'll be able to add that. So we're in the process of waiting to receive it. I've had to jump through a couple hoops to get the money, and Miss Ashley Little here, she knows to let me know whenever we get it. That way we can adjust our budget and get it taken care of. If you guys remember, back in January, or maybe a little bit farther than that, we opted to buy 4 trucks for the town. Those trucks should be delivered this Friday unless something happens.
Yeah.
So that'll kind of clear up that whole project. As soon as it gets here, we got a few things we gotta do to them. But the good thing is that money's in a project fund. It doesn't end in June 30th, like our typical general fund budget does.
Yep.
So the old trucks are going gov deals.
Some of our old trucks are gonna go on gov deals. Some of them, we're gonna get some of the worst trucks that we have in our fleet currently. We're gonna sell them on gov deals, and some of the ones that we're getting to replace, we're just gonna handy them down like we've done in the past. We've got 3 vehicles that don't even need to be on the road, that are on the road, because that's the only thing we've got. So as soon as they get here, we're gonna get these trucks in service and get them off the road, and then we'll put them on gov deals to sell. And I know we've still got a pretty good lot of gov deal things that need to be sold. I just haven't had time to do it. It ain't off my radar. It's on my radar. Just ain't enough daylight in the day. To wrap things up, Mr. Davis, I know you'll like this one. Fire ants is the big topic out at the splash pad. So I told Mr. Ross earlier, I bought 100 pounds of fire ant killer. We're gonna try and get it put out in the next day or so to hopefully kill the fire ants. I know the last couple of weeks when the splash pad was up and operational, the park attendant would spray to kill the fire ants, and they'd be right. They do move from one spot to another. So we're gonna try and put this granular powder out to hopefully kill them once and for all, at least in the general area of the splash pad, the playground, and the picnic shelters. We're not gonna be able to do the rest of the 15 acres, but we can get the
The
immediate
walkers
area.
will tell us.
Yeah.
So my recommendation, the guy that cuts the grass, should be putting the fire in.
He's gonna do that, yes, sir.
Yeah, so we
Yeah.
should have, just give us a stockpile of fire, Joe.
It would be nice, but that stockpile costs a lot of money, and we have to stretch it, you know, just because we don't know what the splash pad's gonna do.
I was
So,
gonna say with some good, money saving.
any other questions or comments for council?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you all.
sir.
Thank you, Scott.
Scott, I'll be
starts
here,
tomorrow?
I might come, get a chance to come tomorrow, but I know I'll be here Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Thank you so much.
When you come tomorrow.
Evening, Mayor, Council.
Good evening.
Just a couple of quick things. Just the stats for the month of May, we had 1,144 calls for service. Good news, as well as the fire department, myself and Mr. Ross got the email. We received a $4,500 grant to assist with purchasing bulletproof vests. And what that entails is up to 10 vests, they'll give us $450, which is about half price for the vest. So we're glad to receive that. Also, we got an email on June the 1st that the JAG burn grant that we applied for, it can be anywhere from $500 to $450,000. It was accepted and moved for voting. That'll take place sometime in the month of June. So we're keeping our fingers crossed and hoping and praying that we get a good amount on that grant.
What's that grant for?
Jack, it can be for equipment, vehicles, paying officers overtime to go out and work in high-crime areas. The cameras, like you see, the big cities with the blue light. At Christmas time, we can put them at the shopping centers, recording, high-crime areas. There's a list. There's a list of things
So
that
if
can
we
be.
did, we could put it, I'm sure you have it planned, so.
Yeah, it'll be mobile, so we can move it to different areas. So, but like I said, we don't know how much we'll get. It just said that we were approved to be voted on by their board, this month. Also, ALE, contacted them. I've had several of you talk to me about some nuisance areas, and I'm not gonna name them, for investigative reasons, but, ALE, along with our, town attorney and our district attorney, has agreed to adopt the case, and there's some high crime areas that ALE is gonna come in, and, hopefully, with what we have and what's took place in the past, it can be deemed a nuisance area, and by law, they'll have to clean it up or it'll be bulldozed down. So, I think Mr. Patrick's got some paperwork he's got to sign. The district attorney's agreed to jump on board, and, so it was just a thing between our town attorney, district attorney, ALE, but we did get email back today that they on board, they got thumbs up, they're gonna start working the cases that we have. Unfortunately, they only do one at a time, but he said we'll tackle one and then we'll move to the next one. So we're just trying to clean up some bad areas that we have a lot of calls and, drugs and issues. I wanna say this, I know many of you have seen videos floating around with fights going on, in town. It is disgraceful. And I have made it a top priority of our officers to, take out warrants, investigate, identify. It happens. Every town has it, but to put it out on Facebook and just let everybody watch it like it's entertainment, to me, it's embarrassing. As police chief, embarrassing to the town, laughing stock, to outside people. So, the incident that took place at Oak Hill, warrants has been taken out there. There was an incident come out this weekend. I'm getting inboxes on Facebook, 2 guys fighting in the middle of the street. They have been identified today, and warrants is being taken out on that. So I just wanted to let you know, I get them same videos that y'all get.
I believe one of them guys did a press interview.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I seen that one.
Yeah, he was proud of it.
Yeah, he's proud. He did a press interview.
And he was also banned from where he was doing the press interviews. He's getting charged with that too, so. He does a press interview at a location he's banned from.
These are adults, correct?
They are adults.
Wow.
They're adults.
They're straight up adults.
Yeah,
They got a whole website, a whole Facebook page that's dedicated straight forward.
Oh, wow.
so,
Bottom line is
I wanna say this, council, and my dad trained me to do things right, and you don't have to go brag about it. But I know it was mentioned earlier tonight that as being an admin, police department, I don't have to pay taxes here. I don't live here. But I'll tell you what, me and my wife decided tonight I got sworn in. That the same amount of taxes that I would pay if my house was in Waysboro, we're gonna donate back to Waysboro. Mr. Ross, have I turned in a PO for anything we did on these special
You
events?
have not,
That's
sir.
because me and my wife purchased and paid for that stuff.
Absolutely.
We bought the food. I
Absolutely.
paid for 3 two offices and a bathroom to be painted in the police department. So I just wanted to know, I don't come over here and just draw a salary and go back across the bridge and say, I don't live. I understand all that, but I want you to know that more, and I can show you the records because I own a business and I claim it on my taxes, I'll be honest with you, but way more than what I would pay if I lived in this town. I pay giving back to this community here. I just don't come to get, I put out too, and I take pride in everything I do. And I just want to let you know, I wasn't gonna say nothing, but it was, I just, with all due respect, I didn't take it kindly, because I know that I put over $2,000 back in this community out of me and my wife's pocket last year. Not because I had to, but because I wanted to, 'cause I think that's what's right. And I just wanted to make that said tonight, that I'm just not here to get, I give back to, and I take pride in where our police departments came from. As I say all the time, we're not perfect, but we sure have come a long way from a year ago, last week, when I walked in that place.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you for your service.
Real quickly, school's out. Plans or?
Yes, sir. We made plans today. We met with Miss Betty Huntley. We're doing a safety thing at July at the house. I don't know the exact dates. I got it on email at the housing. And let me say that one thing. We have started at going out in the community, doing training, helping people learn about our apps, how to contact anonymously with the police department. We got waiting on the splash pad to open up. We're gonna do that again where cops go down, give out popsicles, all those things. So yes, sir, there's plans. And as I reported to you last month, our officer goes in July, last week in June, first week in July, to get DARE certified. I have met with the principals. Let me take that back, scratch that. I haven't met. My officer that's going to get DARE certified, he's met with some principals about how we can get in afternoons teaching the DARE program to our kids without interfering with their learning. So that ball is up and rolling too, Mr. Mayor. So
I would suggest the elective courses, like when they have PE, I'm not the president anymore, but when they have elective courses to go in there.
and that's totally, I mean, he was 100% for it, so thankful to have it. But if they could not work it in the schedule, we would even send our officers there like right after school for a program because we want to get DARE into our school systems. I was a product of DARE, and I know how important it is. So I was concerned when I realized it wasn't in our school system. So
It used to be long time ago, I think, Sheriff Allen, Sheriff come out. But anyway, here today. Thank you for what you do, sir.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Mr. Nick. Hey, we got some water leaks.
Of course we do. Agent system, gotta love it. Real quick, biggest thing we have is our current projects, ongoing projects. One of our 3 pump stations that's been being worked on for the last year and a half or more is complete. It is fully operational. Hadn't had any major issues out of it. We had some issues we had to get them come work on. We're currently waiting to start 2 more. Fingers crossed for start time end of the month would be fantastic because both of those stations are extremely aged, wore out. We just hope everything goes well to do that.
Grant's taking care of most of it.
I'm sorry?
Grant money.
Yes, sir. Some of it's grant, some of it's loan.
Yeah.
The Eastside project is going as well as it can go currently. There's a lot of deep digging having to be done there. Talked to the site supervisor down there last week. I went down there earlier today. But last week, they was only able to lay about 30 or 40 feet of pipe a day because they're having to move so much dirt. Some of that pipe is 18 plus feet deep, and you just don't move that much dirt fast. But that is going on. Hopefully here in another couple weeks, month at the most, they're gonna be in some better digging conditions and really be able to ramp up how far they're going with that. So, as we discussed before, the meter project, we finished, the meter project for this fiscal year. We are ordering some more meters, and we hope to start another round of installs in the new fiscal year. What this is gonna do is free us up to do other things. Hydrant maintenance, working on our valve systems, things like that. That's what's gonna be the beauty of getting new meters in. The other thing it'll help us out in is making sure our read window is very consistent. The water meters are being read at a fairly consistent rate now, but it'll be really good once we have the automated system in play. It's gonna take wear and tear off vehicles, everything else. We cover a lot of miles just reading meters when you figure how far our water system goes. Outside of that, I don't really have anything else.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Somebody leak up at Wade Mill, we'll get that fixed.
We done fixed two of them today.
Yeah.
Up at Wade Mill?
Yep.
Nick, was one of those on Cherry Street? I thought, okay. Yeah, I had reported, yeah. Thank you, thank you.
Before I go on to the reports, I do need to go back to the budget discussion. I need direction as to what I am to do moving forward. So we absolutely have an increase in revenue. So I need to know if I am to revise the budget and submit it to the citizens with the 5% COLA.
We ain't voted on that.
No, sir, you haven't, but I, need to,
We,
so this is what we did last year. I presented the budget at the budget hearing, and then you had me make changes, and then I made the changes, and then 2 weeks later.
So you want to know if council, she's asking,
I heard her.
5%, so.
If not,
So forgive me, cause I mean, you know, we're trying to run through these numbers and they keep changing from one person to the next. We're paying for this 5% COLA from what? Magical money?
It's not magical, it's the increase in the revow.
Do I need
So-
to-
So
Okay.
if you look at your presentation.
I got it.
And look at what she gave you, what it says was, we went from 2.6 million to 2.9 million in terms of.
plus another.
And we're-
Plus another $300,000 in
For
vehicle taxes.
vehicles.
And we're basing this off of the fact that we don't go revenue neutral
Correct.
and we go up. And
No,
so-
we're not going up, we're keeping it the same at the 61 cents.
I mean, we got the ability to take that off. And I know, and Lord knows, I'm all for our employees, cause, you know, I've scrimped, saved, and bought dollar menus. And we are going up, but I can about guarantee you, most of the people that actually work here in this community, if you say, hey, we're gonna give you an increase in your pay, and we're gonna give you a little tax break, they're gonna be happy, because everything they're gonna be spending on that COLA gonna go out there in their taxes. So, that's just my opinion on that, so, I mean. So what we wanna do is rebudget it both ways, or?
No, we're gonna, she has 5% in there, correct?
Yes.
Is 5% in there?
Not in here,
Not
Not in there,
in
And
there.
then, yeah.
but on the
So-
presentation.
Right, we have an increase in revenue, a reduction in fund balance allocation, and a 5% plus benefit increase.
Can you give us, the numbers on a 3%?
I'm sorry, I zoned, I apologize.
Instead of a 5%, can you also provide us the numbers for 3%?
I can. I can't right now.
Not right now.
Yes, I can.
Okay.
What was our recommendation at the budget retreat?
I
you
was-
I know you.
I can answer that there was no COLA because we were facing a deficit. But when the new numbers came in, that changed. So, again, our most valued asset is our employees. And so, in 2023, 2024, they did not get a COLA. The interim town manager was like, we can't afford it. Last year, we gave them a 3% COLA.
Correct.
And this year, we're, because of the increase in revenue, we are suggesting a 5% COLA, which for most is not a lot in terms of their salaries, right? So that's what we are recommending. But
So
it's-
if we go revenue neutral, we would be losing approximately $1 million.
What,
So,
But we're not-
Mr. Sellers asked me to send my spreadsheet to him, and, you know, it just, I mean, we know where the revenue is, that's easy. The revenue's a cinch. It's finding the reduction in the expenses that I'm gonna need Mr. Sellers' help with.
Can we give them 5%?
You can give them,
If we
No,
keep
no, I'm
the,
not being funny, but they need 5%. for
if
one
we
reason.
keep the tax rate.
Okay.
If we don't keep the tax rate, we're gonna have to give up the 4 police officers.
Absolutely.
We're gonna have to give up all the capital purchases. We're gonna obviously not do the raises.
You might be even suggesting eliminating some positions, right?
Yeah, possibly eliminate some positions
Now,
and
hold on.
definitely have a higher, fund balance allocation.
Hold on, and I love you selling this. We had already budgeted.
I'm not selling it, sir. I'm giving you the facts.
We had already budgeted for these positions and this stuff way before we got any of these numbers. We're not technically losing $1 million, we're just not gaining it. Revenue neutral, we keep the same amount of money.
Yes, sir.
That we always been made, that this board had already, before they brought you back, had allocated to give the police chief his people, because we need it. We left other positions out. We've already moved people out of their positions. We've cut costs on the trash side as far as what we're paying out versus what we're taking in. That's
But you
coming
were
off
dipping
the,
into your fund balance. So
that's taking it off the back of taking it off the back of our customers already. So,
no, I don't think you understand, sir.
Sir,
So yeah, you don't understand. So
I did, when I came on board, I don't know how to say this.
well, it's,
When I came on board, there were no calculations made. There was no salary calculations made. There was no benefit calculations made. I'm sorry. There was nothing done. And this is where we are.
yeah. So, but when you guys went to the budget workshops, those 4 officers, or there's 2 officers, and everything that you recommended was still taking $500-something thousand out of the fund balance to balance it. Now, with these increased revenue, we don't have to do that, right? Because you have that extra revenue, extra resources. So what you're doing is you're passing the savings on to the employees who out here doing the work every day in, day out. Police officers, firefighters, admin staff, water and sewer. So yeah, I recommended that we pass that on to our employees. And with the increased revenue, Maureen, the fund balance allocation was what, $128,000, is that correct? So we went from 577 to 128 from the fund balance.
Technically, it's supposed to be 0.
Yeah, it's supposed to be 0, but we're just not there in terms of our revenue source, right? So revenue neutral is you're going to lose $1 million, which means you're going to have to obviously make some cuts. Yeah, or nail down your fund balance to, you know, if you, Maureen, correct me if I'm wrong, if we go too deep in our fund balance, the state will absolutely be looking at us. Is that correct?
You can go to a certain,
Certainly, exactly.
certain point. We've never been that.
I think it's 8%, I think.
Yeah, we've never been,
Yeah,
we've never been that.
I don't know what that figure is, but
All right, guys, here's the thing, let's come back.
you need an answer on that tonight?
so we can push the vote to the 29th, but the citizens need 2 weeks to look at the budget.
That's right.
Now, please correct me, Patrick, if I'm wrong. My understanding is that,
it would have been nice to have these.
my
calculations
understanding
for the
is
budget
that
retreat.
Guys, excuse me,
But we didn't,
Yeah.
if we didn't vote on it then,
we need to, council, if we could, we need to, get this done tonight. If we can get it done on this decision. Either 0, 5, or 3 is the options that we have. We can't keep kicking it down the road, so.
my understanding is that we presented this budget, and there have been changes in the tax revenue,
Correct.
okay? And because of that, we are allowed to make changes, right? Am I correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but I still need to move forward, I need to get it done,
All right, council,
considering I'm only part-time
council.
also.
Now, y'all remember, as Mr. Ross said, conversation with me, we haven't collected this money yet. Now, we spending money that we haven't collected.
Yeah, so every year, that's how budgets are made. So
Yeah.
we're going, by law, we are following the general statute, which says, but last year, we collected 90.5%, 5% collection rate. And we are judging that as well on what we're receiving, projecting, correct. Every budget, Mr. Seller, is a projected budget,
Right.
projected.
That's why I cannot project 100%.
Exactly.
We just did it, employee study, right? And brought everybody up to standard,
Top
right?
pay,
Yeah. So
except
that's,
15 people.
Yeah.
I remember the convo.
yeah.
Well, it was
And the only
15
reason they
people
didn't,
then.
cause they were already at the top pay.
That's true,
So
but the
that's-
conversation identified 15 people that are already at the top pay.
Right, so everybody else were brought up.
Yeah, everybody was brought out. So you're talking about anywhere between 1% increase to 3%, right? And depending on what the job was, it was a variety of different jobs, right? The police department was not getting a raise, period, because we raised them up before this council was sworn in, right? And so the fire department, everybody's getting a raise because they were very low, right? In terms of what fire departments across the similar sized population would get. So we took all that in consideration, compensation study and also the COLA, right?
So within the past 2 years, almost everybody has gotten a raise.
No, in 2023, nobody got a raise, but
But
they got it in 20, they
They
got it
got a
last
good
year.
pass bonus.
Over the past year then,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
Here's the thing on
3%.
that.
Hmm.
Inflation, things are going up.
Last time we gave a code,
Things are going up.
That's
You
how
look
much
at
it-
gas, you look at
3%.
food.
3%.
last time we gave them.
So you have to look at those things as well, from our employees, childcare, all of those things factor into
I'm good
this.
with 3%.
So I've
I'm
always
cool with
been
3.
an opponent for giving our employees cost of living. And I think, I don't have a vote, but I think 3% across the board is, if I would vote, is decent across the board. It's better than nothing. 3% is better than the 5. I mean, it's not better, it's better than 0. So if we give them 3%, it still shows them love, because it really wasn't even in there. This is extra, that was not even in the budget, so that other 2, we don't have to worry about it. It could be something else as opposed to that 5, but I think the board considered 3% as opposed to 5.
Would you,
We need a motion. Need a motion?
I'll make a motion for the 3% COLA.
All right. Need a second.
I second.
All right, second. All in favor of 3% COLA, raise your hand. All right, passed.
would you like me to
3% COLA.
right, would you like me to look at the tax rate? Maybe a little bit, to see what happens.
I'd like to have some numbers,
Yeah.
and you can email that to me too when you get
Well,
it.
it's gonna take a little bit, but yeah, I'll work on it.
We'll go 3%.
That way I can see what we got.
Okay.
I-
All right,
I hate to sound kinda hard, but I get this packet on a Friday when I asked for it on a Wednesday, and I got to kinda go through contracts and budget amendments.
Sir, I was trapped in Pittsburgh for a
And-
week
and
in
then-
the ER
and then-
for 2 visits,
and
and
then-
I was extremely sick, so I do apologize for not
And-
having it to you on
And then we
time.
get contracts I'm trying to go over, and then we're trying to amend, we're trying to make recommendations on the fly. And so I just, I wanna make sure we're good stewards of the money.
Mr. Sellers.
We still have to be fair, y'all.
Mr. Sellers, it has been common. I've been on here for a long time that we get it on a Friday at our door. We may get it a day or two, but that's
Yeah.
been the practice. So, and I concur with you that if we could get it a little bit earlier, I understand you're sick. Life
I've
happens.
been here a month.
Yeah, life happens, but if we could look at getting it a day or two earlier, but anyway,
Yes, sir.
thank you.
All right, general fund report, revenue collections at 4.9 million, expenditures at 5.43. We still have encumbrances at 213,000. We are working on getting those POs closed out by June 30th. Leaves an operating deficit of $541,000. Water sewer, water department expenditures, revenue at 3.5, water expenditures at 1.3, sewer 1.5, encumbrances of 192,000 with an operating surplus of 756,000. However, if you look at your reports, you'll see that $726,000 was posted for loan proceeds. So that's really a $30,000 surplus. You didn't have that, I mean, of course, you wouldn't have the expenses either, but that wasn't money or sewer revenue, that was loan proceeds.
What report are you on?
It's just my summary sheet.
So we don't have that.
You got it.
I think the department does a really good job with investments. We keep an eye on it every month. Anytime we get over a certain dollar amount, we start transferring money into our interest-bearing savings account. And total water and sewer, we're sitting at almost $7 million. We're probably sitting at more than that right now. That's April. So for our savings, we're doing really well. Any questions? That was as of April 30th. I'll try not to get sick next month.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
All right, Mr.
Yes, Mayor, members of the council, just a couple of things. As you recall, we put out an RFP for the streetscape project, and we follow the state procurement policies as well as the town of Waysboro. And we have to get 3 bids, we only received 2. So we got to put it back out again. This project is scheduled to be completed in 2028, but we definitely want to get the ball rolling. So we would put that back out for RFP. And then I do want to introduce our new zoning administrator, Ms. Sharika Staten. And Sharika has a bachelor's degree in criminal justice, and she has a master's in social science and criminal justice, and she is a candidate for her PhD in public policy, which is right in line with what she's doing now with the zoning administrating. And so she's been drinking out of a fire hose the last couple of weeks. Just want to introduce her to Ms. Staten. You got any questions for her?
Welcome on board. Welcome on board.
Any questions? Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Just want to make one comment. This job is a lot about research. So some people email me and say, can you give me the signage regulations? I can't just answer that question. And as soon as they send it to me, I have to let them know that I have to research it, go by the orders, and I send them the exact link where they can find that at. But a lot of times this job is just research, so I don't know this thing off the top of my head because a lot of this it's on the website. So, but I have to also make sure I do the research and make sure give them correct answers. I don't want to come back and say that you quoted me this and this is not what it is. So I make sure I give them, do the research, provide them the link. We have just updates, make the forms fillable online so they can access that now.
Yep.
And we continue to work on improvement projects with the online access for the citizens. So we're trying to make, update some of the things, the features, with the city website.
Absolutely, absolutely.
That's great.
Things that seem to have been an issue, when stuff comes to us, there's never a quorum. Are you gonna work with that, see if you can get some people on there, or?
Okay, now you talking
The-
about in reference to the planning board?
Yeah, it's on
Yeah.
the planning board.
Okay, so I've been working on that as well, contacting members to try to, get an upcoming planning meeting. So I'm trying to get in contact with those members that I have that were reported that were on the board.
Yeah, because when it comes to us, it's like, well, here's the rules, but we didn't talk about it. We like to have a, you know, a good judgment from y'all's end.
There's a
when it comes
process
to-
and we wanna follow.
Yeah, that process,
Yeah.
you know, or we gonna have to start kicking it back and it's gonna make people have to wait longer for a project.
I understand, so I'm trying to contact the members now. They didn't do it via email, so I like to do things via email,
Yes,
send a calendar request so they can accept it and they can see it. I know some people still like to have a paper trail in their hand. So also, part of that process will be mailing them a letter, letting them know that there'll be an upcoming meeting. But just trying to track down everyone who's on the board, because I don't know everybody per se that's on the board.
Yeah, and I'm helping her out as much as I can, so a lot of the calls are just really about what is the zoning, and I can access that pretty quickly. And so we kind of go back and forth about that.
So what I would like, if I may, when it comes to the planning board, call each member and ask them, will they attend the meeting? If they don't wanna attend the meeting, ask them, does that mean they are no longer interested on being on the board? Because last 3-5 times, not a quorum. So if they're not participating, is it because they don't want to? We need to find that out, because then we can get them off and put people who are interested in serving on. Because, you know, we have a process in place for a reason. I would like to follow that process.
And that was part of having the meeting, so that I can get everybody's feedback. And some of the people I have left messages for, trying to contact them, so I have not received a phone call back. But, I'll do the extra diligent efforts to make sure if they don't wanna serve, to let me know.
Correct, thank you.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
And then you can start building your board up.
Thank you.
Might need to send somebody out to check on them.
That was my next thing. I'm gonna knock on doors. I wanna do that, but I might have to.
Well, they might,
You got
might not be there no more.
I had you at the high school there.
You did.
Okay, I'm just,
You did.
man, trying to fly. Gosh. Actually, I know I had you there. You was mom.
That's all right. That's all right.
All right, Mr. Ross.
That's all I have.
All right. Council's comments, concerns?
I have none.
I have one. I just like what the chief said, Mr. Go. You know, I work in Nelson County, out of the county. I pay taxes, so, you know, every time we have a meeting, it's always come up. Do you live in the county, or you live out of the county, about you paying taxes? Okay, let's go back. Have some kind of sheriff department, don't pay taxes. They live out of county. Police department, some of them live out of county. Tax ain't got nothing to do with about saving your life. You know, we keep worrying about where you live and where you don't live. To me, don't you save my life? I don't care if you pay taxes in the county. That's what I get tired, every time we have a meeting, keep hearing over and over. You know, it's time to realize that we're gonna have people out of the county gonna work in this county, from Richmond County, Scotland County. We had Rita James, she was the human resource up there. She lived in Amwal. Never heard nothing said, but she took people insurance money. I know that much because I worked there. So, to me, let's don't worry about if you pay taxes. Worry about people's lives. Okay? I don't worry about, as long as you save my life, I don't care you don't pay no taxes. That's what counts. But we get in here and sit in here like we show everybody holy and all this and that. Hey, I'm like this, I'm keep 100 with you, I'm keep real. So, when like I told the people, I'm gonna work for the people. But I'm not gonna, every time, I'm gonna, Mr. Ross live in Charlotte, Mr. Sell live in Mountain Gate. I don't care about that, as long as you get the job done. You know, the main key, get the job done. You know, somebody wanna bash me, I can take, as long as you get the job done. But listen, it's time for us to stop worrying about where we live, where we live.
People.
You know, all the other people, before I ever got in, Mr. Ross got in, Mr. Sally got on this board, anybody got on this board, people have been with me from the other counties and Nelson County. Never heard nothing said. I've been to a lot of meetings, never heard nothing
say, I do appreciate our employees. I've seen, police chief, I've seen your officers out and about a lot. I try to wave, but sometimes it's hard to see if they're waving back because the windows are tinted. But I do wave at them, and I do appreciate them. I see them quite regular. I probably see several up and down our road a little bit more than I have in the past, and if they stay over there quite regular enough, they'll probably find some interesting stuff even in my neighborhood. But you're right. You know, we do have people work in and out of the county, and I think a lot of the frustration comes with the communities when we're asking so much from people who ain't got that much, you know. And I think they get frustrated and they get blinded by the fact that we do have so many people now coming from out of the county coming here, and you know, I don't have the answer for that until we get some industries and we start bringing them in, and I think we got a good opportunity for that. But as long as I'm sitting on this board, I will tell all the citizens that voted for me, even the ones that didn't, makes me no different. I'm kind of like he said, you can talk all you want to. I see the Facebook post. It don't make me no difference. I'm not going to chime in. I'm not going to bark up. People have been barking on Facebook for as long as I can remember. I get tickled. I mean, I get sent stuff all the time. But I am going to do what the people elected me to do, is come up here and fight to try to keep their costs down as best I can and still try to make this town work. And as this board, I think we need to work with economic development. We need to work across that line with the county and Mr. Ross and everybody, Mark Brody, to bring these businesses in here, clean up some of these buildings we got that needs to be tore down, put some things there, bring some stuff back here so we can cut these costs. It's just what we got to do. We're at a point where if it's 5 jobs, 10 jobs, 15 jobs, we've got to get the businesses in here.
I want to start by apologizing to Chief Childers. I didn't say it, but I just would like you and Maureen to know that this just started within the last couple of years. Before then, nobody cared about it. The charter was changed something like 20 years ago to allow people to work in these positions that didn't live in the county. So I'm sure it wasn't pointed at you. I know you felt slighted, but I'll apologize to you because you don't deserve it. Don't nobody deserve it.
That's right.
Mr. Ross has got it the worst.
Oh, yeah. But to feel that hurt that you felt, I apologize because I know you're a God-fearing man. And I think you've been an asset to the town, and we appreciate you.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I just like to say thank you for all the work that you're doing. Even though we get knocked down, we get knocked down. When I first came on the board, that's all they did, was just knock us down. It's like want nothing. Everybody needs to be fired. Everybody needs to go home. They don't know what they're doing. But one thing about it, God got a way of working everything out.
Yes, he does.
And the same one that knock you down, you may have to lift them up one day. So hold your head up high, keep your hand in God's hand, and keep doing what you're supposed to do. Because I appreciate everything that y'all do in this county. Scott, I love you. I will be back to help you. I will. And just y'all just know if anything I can do, just let Ramita know and she'll come and help you out. Oh yeah. Hey, I can pick up a shovel.
Y'all, when I transition, please just attach me to the spot. Just attach me to the spot. Big enough for that, we're not gonna let you get it. The only reason I know to ask the guy that wanted to splash. But you know what? I want it, and those kids have fun when it's up.
Oh, they love it.
I can hear when they screaming and yelling, they're having fun, so it doesn't matter to me. Anyway, on this side right here, Mr. Rawls, whoever the person is, the old funeral home on Salisbury Street is an embarrassment. I think we've sent letters. If we cut it, we need to send them the bill. It's time for us to do something.
You talking about 117?
On Salisbury Street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
Yeah, it needs, that, the little building know who owns it. It's right below the white, used to be Flowers Barber Shop. People are sleeping in there. They're kicking down the door, sleeping in there. Yeah, we need to board it up if somebody gets hurt. It's a brick building. I don't know who owns it. Two-story building. Right there on the heart of Salisbury Street. That I think we need to find out who owns it. Cause I rode by there, mattresses in there. I mean, they just, those two things. I know we keep talking about the house on Dora Street and, right up Dora and all of that. It's time to make some action. Time to, it's vacation season, and riding down there is just an eyesore. And if I have to, I ain't gonna say, I get it cut. I get it cut. I'm tired of it. So whoever needs to, I'll get it cut, just like we had to do. These people that own these properties, we've gotta hold them accountable. The old Hildred produce, grass growing up, the old KFC grass growing up, we're better than that. All I'm saying is, we're better than that, and if we keep doing it, we're just giving in to it. But we're better than that. So, that's all I have to say. I'm tired of looking at it. We're better than that. All right, we need to go, Mr. Sewell. We need a motion to go in closed session.
I make a motion, we go in closed session.
We're not in closed session.